The incident highlights ongoing issues of unfair treatment, lack of proper regulation, and disputes over access and control of the popular tourist spots. Speaking to Tobago Updates, Michael Frank, owner of Frankie's Stores, said following a meeting, tour boat operators have unanimously decided to revert to the original tour route that was in place prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. This route did not include no man's land. He said they believe the decision will maintain order, ensure guest safety, and preserve the quality of tour experience. In recent times, several food and beverage vendors have occupied the area offering local cuisine and entertainment. However, there has been public concern over sanitation and regulation of the spot. And finally, the National Maintenance and Security Company, MTS, is reportedly owed a staggering $700 million by several government and state agencies for services rendered. This from Estate Police Association President Derek Richardson, who says the Ministry of Education alone has accumulated half of the owed amount. He further stated that the company's management is finding it difficult to pay staff salaries on a monthly basis, adding that the company has been left with a heavy financial burden. Richardson said many of the workers who currently earn minimum wage per hour are reeling from the effects which have affected their personal lives and credit ratings. He said many MTS staff members are being turned away from financial institutions when attempting to apply for loans. Richardson called on Finance Minister Dave Tanku to use supplementary budget allocations to settle outstanding payments between 2013 and 2025. And that was your news in 90 seconds. So, Akinlabi, very interesting facts and details here in the news this morning.
Yes, yes.
And I want to stay home a little bit before I go to the MTS situation. Right here at home, I know the video circulated.
Yeah.
And we always talk about tourism on the island of Tobago. And I heard a little bit of what Mr. Frank said. And he was saying that the altercation happened in a space where people came to enjoy themselves, to relax, to have a good time. And you came on board with the intention
of enjoying yourself.
Right. And this specific person came on here knowing that you're looking for it. You're looking for a fight.
Yes.
Right? Knowing that there are persons there who have no interest in fighting. They want to have a good time. And so it's kind of unfair. And we really need to go back to who are we as a people?
Well, the thing is, Adana, the issues concerning the reef boat tours and the young men working the reef boat tours has been long-standing. It's a long-standing issue. I don't know if you remember, but people used to complain about the touting before. And then they started complaining about the behavior of the young men on the boats. They're cursing, they're smoking marijuana, they're completely unprofessional, they're playing a sort of vulgar music. And this is just the latest in a string of just completely and totally unprofessional behavior by these young men. The reef boat tours is something that is very iconic to Tobago. It's something that a lot of persons make a living off of, but unfortunately, a lot of the young men who make a living off of this profession, they don't see a need to be professional at all. They don't see a need to be professional at all, and it's causing a serious problem for the wider group of tour reef operators.
And you see, because that's why I said we have to go back to who are we as a people, because if you see this as a hustle, right, just a hustle, you know, is not, you're not seeing it as a product. You're not seeing yourself as in service to people. You're just thinking of a quick buck, right? And so we will have challenges when you have that type of mindset. And I feel as if we really have to go back and reevaluate and reassess. What do I want to represent? How do I want to represent myself? How do I want to represent my island? How do I want to represent my people? And you know, even if you have a disagreement with somebody, a real vex, I don't think that is the way.
There's not a space and a place to
That's right. But what do you think about the MTS being owed 700? How does a company? How do you owe a company
700 million?
$700 million.
That's a staggering number. That's the most I've ever heard. Because I know sometimes Tech is owed, sometimes Wassa is owed. but I've never heard a figure like 700
That's
million
almost
before.
$1 billion.
That's almost $1 billion. So now the question now is, how is this company surviving? How are they paying salaries? How are they maintaining the company? The company is running in debt. The company has to be in debt.
Yeah, definitely. I can't understand how you're operating. Because, I mean, you have employees,
Yes.
right? So they have to be paid. I mean, it was also mentioned in the news, they have to be paid. How are they being sustained? How are they even coming to work?
Yeah.
This is really, really concerning,
mind-blowing.
and I would really like to get, more details where this is concerned, to see the status of this situation, and to know what the MTS to tell us how they're operating.
And again, Adana, this is a long-standing issue when it comes to state agencies, particularly state agencies that offer services to other state entities. They are often owed monies for very, very, very long periods, and it really affects the books. And
yeah, because they're talking about 2013. That's what, about 12 years?
Yeah.
How could you owe somebody for 12 years? That amount, accumulates. And why is the MTS keeping the contract or the arrangement with these people, knowing since 2013 they've been out of pocket? So it really is. Yeah, I would love to hear the MTS, more details from the MTS in terms of a conversation, rather than, well, you owe me and I want my money. I want to know more.
Sometimes it's politics, because even if you're running a state agency and you're trying to run it like a business, somebody on the end, on the next side of the things, coming and saying, hey, now, even though Ministry of Education owes you $300 million, you can't break the contract with them. You have to stay with them. Now, business would dictate that they break the contract and they probably go to court and to recoup their money and so forth. But because politics is involved, the business running a state agency becomes very different when it's politicians involved and that kind of thing.
Doing a rock and a hard place, but I want my money, All right, Akinlabi, we gotta celebrate with those who are celebrating this morning. It's time for our birthday shout-outs. Of course, we start off the celebrations this morning as we usually do in true Tobago update style. We say happy birthday to Miss Tanisha Cupid. She's known as TC. Happy birthday to you. We do pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, amazing birthday today, despite the wet and cold weather this morning.
Continue the celebrations, and we say happy birthday to Mr. Sylvester Jack. Happy birthday to you. So we see you dressed up there looking very dapper, and we know you're going to go all out tonight to celebrate. You might be celebrating all now, as a matter of fact. You might have taken the day off, and we hope that if you take the day off, you're taking it to relax and reflect and rest and celebrate. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Jack.
All right, and we continue. We say happy birthday to Mr. Arias Dick is celebrating a birthday today. I was trying to get the syllables there, but I was corrected. It's Arias Dick. We do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday today. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that as you enter this new chapter, that you find love, peace, joy, and happiness. So happy birthday to you.
And finally, we say happy birthday to Miss Janelle Jofield. Happy birthday to you, Miss Janelle Jofield. We pray God's richest blessings on you on your special day. Friends and family surround you and shower you with love, and you give thanksgiving for your life, and pray that God guides your steps from here on out. Happy birthday to you.
That's right. And of course, even if we don't have your photographs and you are celebrating a birthday, we join in the celebration with you, and we remind you to put God first, because He is the sole reason why there's even anything for you to celebrate. And in the midst of life, we also celebrate the life of a friend of Tobago Updates Television who transitioned over the weekend, Miss K. Allen-Melanie. She went to be with her maker. That voice, such a sweet, awesome voice. And to me, that voice was just so heavenly. That voice would shake a room.
Indeed, yes.
And we wanna, acknowledge you, Kay. Your family, your friends, your loved ones, we send our love to you guys. We send God's peace to comfort you in this time. And we want to share a piece of Kay's voice with our viewers this morning as you take in the heavenly melodies coming from this gorgeous, gorgeous lady. And Akinlabi, over the weekend, of course, people were pouring in their,
their tributes.
Their tributes to Kay. And I saw a video. Remember, I know when she became unwell and they were hosting concerts, benefit concerts to her sister. She was so unwell. But yet she still made it to the stage. They put a chair there for her and she sat there and she sang. And to me, that is somebody who is fighting. That shows me heart. That shows me grit, and I really admire Kay. In fact, the time, I didn't know her for a very long time, but the time frame that I knew her, I have never seen her angry. She was always laughing or smiling or finding something to laugh at, and Tobago, we lost a giant, we lost a giant, a humble soul with a big, boisterous, lovely voice,
Over this weekend, I was telling myself, Tobago, we lost a wee girl, boy. Tobagonians loved her so much, and like you said, over social media, a lot of persons, the kind of tributes you see persons pouring out for her, and the things that she did in her life, she did so much, and she really loved her God. She really loved her Jesus, and we pray for the family, we pray for the friends, and we wish that she rests in peace. One day she would be risen to meet her Lord and Savior again.
That's right, and that's the hope that we have there in Christ Jesus. And for all our viewers, on Friday, during our show on Friday morning, we are going to have tributes for Kay. So if you want to send in your tributes, whether it's via WhatsApp, whether it's via our live stream on Facebook and YouTube, you can send in your tributes. I don't know if we will open the phone lines as well, but on Friday we are going to honor Kay, and we're going to be doing a tribute to Kay. As Akinlabi said, as our girl, our Tobago girl, and we are going to show her much love and love to her family, her friends, her loved ones, those who are going to be feeling that void. We want to fill that space with love. All right, Akinlabi, who are we having conversations with this morning in studio?
All right, so this morning we're going to have on Miss Sherry-Ann Rollocks Hackett, who is the School Supervisor 3. And she's going to be talking to us about the Tobago Educators Professional Development Program. After which, Mr. Edison Thomas, who is the Marketing Specialist for TITL, is going to come in to talk about STEM Camp 2025. And finally, Dwayne Edwards, who is an event promoter, is going to be coming in to talk to us about Tequila Sunset 2025.
Well, it's that time of the year, isn't it? Camp time and party time.
Party time, festival time.
That's right. So we're going to be having those conversations this morning. So viewers, we do hope that you could stay with us throughout the entire programming this morning as we go through the conversations and bring the information to you. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation too if you leave your comments on our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel. We'll be happy to hear from you. For those of you who are viewing us on AMPLIA 102 or Flow 120 or 130, we welcome you this morning and we ask you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Dance Ensemble Tobago presents our signature event, Tobago Dance Sport Championship and Dancing with the Caribbean Stars. Lights, cameras, dance. Our 12th edition on Saturday the 12th of July, 5 p.m. The Shore Park Cultural Complex Auditorium. See our dancers, all ages, compete in waltz, jive, rumba, salsa, mambo, and much more. Our Dancing with the Caribbean Stars. Who will take home the Mirrorball Trophy? Mrs. Tatiana Ned Augustine, the wife of the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly. Miss Lynette Louis, vocalist entertainer. Mrs. Cassandra Thompson Forbes, journalist and Tobago correspondent. Mr. Javon Carrington, founder and head trainer of Dosfit Studios. And Mr. Julian Skeet, administrator and former TV host. After show, dance party with DJ Santa out of Trinidad. Early bird tickets, adult adults $200, children $75, and general tickets, adults $250 and children $100. Get your early bird tickets now from Dance Ensemble members, D&D Jewelers at Tobago United Cooperative, Milford the 24 gas station in Canaan, and the Shore Park Cultural Complex box office. For more information, you call 772-9049 and 340-5758. You can't miss this one.
My name is Tina Macmillan, your last year's third place winner and the Miss Photogenic for last year's Miss Heritage Personality Show. And this year, I want to carry you with me for my Tobago Heritage experience. I'll be hosting with Tobago Updates, bringing you live coverage behind the scenes and also their giveaways, tickets to the heritage events, and a 2-night stay to the Mandalina Grand. So you need to stay locked on to Tobago Updates on all their social media platforms, Kina Macmillan on Facebook and originalmedusa.tt on TikTok. My Tobago Heritage experience with Tobago Updates. Stay tuned.
Do something and roll back, come let me reel. I make a brush back. Do something and roll back, come let me reel. I make a brush back. Do something and do something.
Do you think you know Premier League or Champions League football? What about international cricket or the IPL and CPL? How about NBA basketball? Well, now you can put your skills to work to earn some extra cash by betting on the games with TT Bet Arena. Simply go to our website, choose a sport you want to bet on, find the games and place your bets. And with your computer or mobile device, you can bet from anywhere. Just go to ttbetarena.com, sign up for a free account, make a deposit, and start betting. It's that simple. You can even qualify for our $2,000 sign-up bonus. We also have horse racing, plus live casino games where you can bet using TT dollars. And check our new Tobago location at 7B Milford Road, Crown Point. For more info, call or WhatsApp 494-0634. TT Bet Arena, the #1 sports betting company in Trinidad and Tobago.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And we have in studio with us Ms. Sherian Rolex Hackett, School Supervisor 3. And she has come here to talk to us about the Tobago Educators Professional Development Program. Good morning and welcome, Mrs. Rolex Hackett.
Good morning and thank you for having me here. And good morning to the wider Tobago public and especially our educators.
Okay, so we want to go straight into it. Tell us, what is the Tobago Educators Professional Development Program?
Well, the program has been in existence for several years now, and it targets all our teachers at all levels, from the ECC level, primary to secondary level. And it's an opportunity that we utilize to really enhance the development of our teachers, to provide them with the opportunities to upskill their competencies so that they can be more effective in the classroom. Because our commitment at the Division of Education, Research and Technology is towards excellence and towards lifelong learning.
Okay, and this program, is it something that is year-round or does it take place at a particular time of the year?
Yes, it is an annual program and it usually takes place immediately after school closes for the July-August vacation. So we really say to our teachers and our educators, before you exhale, give us, it's usually 2 weeks.
Okay.
But because this year, the vacation is not an 8 weeks vacation this year, it's a 7 week. We have decided to cut it down somewhat. So we have 1 week this year, which is from the 14th to the 18th of July. So we are asking them, come and invest in your skill set and your development just for 1 week before you actually go off on that vacation, well-deserved vacation.
And you know, you mentioned that you're asking them to come out. Is it something that is mandatory or is it voluntary?
It is voluntary, right? And as educators, we speak about the importance of being lifelong learners. We speak about the importance of ensuring that we have the technical competencies. So it's an opportunity for the teachers, the educators themselves, to demonstrate what we preach by ensuring that we come out. So we are here, I'm here this morning to encourage the participation of our wider administrators, our teachers, even our safety officers within our schools are targeted in our program because they too need to be provided with the opportunities so that they can better perform their jobs.
And you know, you're talking about teachers at all different levels. You're talking primary, secondary, ECC.
Yeah.
You're talking about, you know, safety officers, administrators, all sorts of, once you're in the teaching environments, you're talking about them. How are the courses or the sessions tailored to capture the person who is a safety officer? What types of topics you talk on to ensure that or how is the workshop structured? Are you going to have everybody sitting at the same time learning the same skills, or are you going to have like breakout rooms? So primary goes here, secondary goes here, safety officers here, admin. How is it going to work out?
All right, so the schedule and the topics that will be dealt with throughout the period have been carefully selected, and they are responsive to our real needs within the sector. So we have topics that target essentially our administrators, our principals, our vice principal, the middle managers at our schools, our deans, etc. And there are certain programs that also look at our safety officers and officers at the ECCE level. I can just briefly mention some of them.
Okay.
For our administrators, for example, they are at a point in time where they are required to develop school development plans. Now, those plans are recognized as part of our school-based management strategy that empowers our school leaders to envision the pathways, where they want their school to develop and how they would like it to develop, the areas of focus given their particular needs, and come out with a trajectory as to how they will get there. So thus far, they have submitted elements of that plan that speaks to having done their SWOT analysis, having looked at what their strengths are, their school profile, etc. And they are now at a point where they are required to actually build out that plan. So we have Mr. Kurt Wellington coming out of the at a Lockjack Graduate School, University of the West Indies, and he will be looking at strategic planning for school leadership. And we are expecting that not just the principals will come out, the vice principal, but members of the school-based management team, and even teachers, the ordinary teacher who may be interested in, entering administration at some point in time, that those teachers will also come out and participate. At this point in time also, we are speaking about strategies as far as, AI, and that is a buzzword now almost. Everybody's talking about AI, etc. And if you may remember, only recently, the primary schools here in Tobago and also in Trinidad for some of those days were closed to facilitate our educators participating in AI training. I know some persons ask, what would a one-day session on AI do for our teachers? But we are quite cognizant of the fact that it's an investment, it's incremental. And we also have, during our training program, sessions for our teachers. We have, for the administrators, directly targeted for them, we have Mr. Gerard Lanos, and he's coming from GNC Labs, and he's an expert in the area of artificial intelligence. And what we are doing there is outlining to our principals how they can incorporate AI technology in the administration of their schools. And then we are going to look also at the teachers, targeted teachers too, middle managers, etc., as to how do we rethink or restructure assessment and evaluation in an era of artificial intelligence. Now, we do different types of assessment. You can do holistic assessment, you can utilize a rubric, etc. And utilizing of that rubric, we have to be cognizant of the fact that today, you can give a student a project, an assignment, and they can go online using AI and get an entire thesis done on whatever topic once they put in the correct and the appropriate prompts. How do you evaluate that? How do you assess that as representing the true intellect and capability of the child? And therefore, we'll be exploring that with AI for middle managers, all right? And we are also looking at the area of engaging the disruptive learner. The whole of Tobago, whole of Trinidad and Tobago, we have been seeing the videos online. We have been seeing the fights, and we have been hearing about the bullying. And many of these activities and these things that have been happening has been interrupting the normal flow of our classrooms to enable our teachers to be as effective as they would like to be. And therefore, we felt that it was also important at a time like this for us to sit with our teachers, our classroom teachers, and explore different approaches as to how we can better engage those learners. Because sometimes some of the children, they misbehave because they are not as effectively engaged in the classroom at the time. So we want to provide our educators with additional skills, and we have Dr. Henry Paul, who will be leading in that particular area. He's a son of the soil right here from Tobago, but he currently works out of the University of the West Indies, the Teaching and Learning Center. So he will be leading that.
Okay.
A few of some of the areas.
You've spoken about a lot of
quite
stuff.
a lot, yes.
And we have more, but yes, those are some.
But I want to know from you, over the years, what has the participation really been like from teachers? Are you all satisfied with the levels of buy-in you've gotten over the years?
I would say over the years, it has been very encouraging. And I really want to congratulate those educators who, every single vacation training program, they are there. And many of them have actually testified that they don't miss it. they ensure that they put it on their calendar. Yes, it's coming. But we would like to see a greater level of participation, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here this morning, to encourage the participation. Come out. Yes, I know. You have been waiting for this vacation, yes? And you're ready to go. I know that there are some principals, some teachers who already have their tickets and so forth. Yes. But for those of you who have not yet purchased your ticket, we are saying come out and participate at the end of the day. Because we have training, as I indicated earlier, throughout the year. Our curriculum unit, they usually engage our teachers throughout the year on various in various areas pertaining specifically to the curriculum and in instructional delivery. And we also have training that also targets the examinations, the regional exam, the CSEC, the CAPE, and also our SCA. We have training that also upskill and develop the competencies of our teachers in particular areas. But when it comes to the July vacation training program, it's those teachers who are very professional minded, who really understand the importance of investing in yourself so that you can more effectively pour in to our learners. And we encourage them to come out and participate. And you know what? This year I'm happy to report that we have personnel coming out of the hotel school who actually reached out to me, indicated, Mrs. Hackett, we want to get on board. And I said to them, certainly sign up for the areas that you are interested in. And they have signed up. So we're encouraging even persons. We have our trade school, right? We encourage our tutors there to also be a part of this. Don't be left out.
Wouldn't it be amazing if all industries and all cross sectors of what we do here on the island of Tobago just buy into the training that is relevant to their industry so that we could improve our service on the island? So I must commend the Division of Education. I must commend the teachers who are committed to attending each year, and even the persons who want to buy in this year as well. And you know, I take this opportunity to encourage those teachers who don't have their tickets to go anywhere as yet, because I know some teachers have been doing the countdown. We have been following them on social media. 1 more week to go. So if you haven't purchased your ticket or you don't have commitments to be out of the country or any other engagement, this is a perfect opportunity for you to enhance your skills and to keep up with the times. You heard me talking about AI and all sorts of things happening there, and I've seen photos and videos of some of the sessions that you've hosted over the years. And I see the engagement, and I see how the teachers are interacting with the material. I see how they interact with the material, and then I see how they bring it into the classroom to engage the students. So, you know, you don't want to miss this, ladies and gentlemen. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers?
Well, I simply want to say to our educators, this is for you. You know, sometimes we look at the end result, how the students perform in the various examination or even in internal assessment and so forth. But to ensure that we receive an end product of a high quality, we have to ensure that the persons who are in the driver's seat, our teachers, our administrators, that they are best positioned and have the necessary competencies to do what is required, to be able to unearth and unveil that level of excellence from among our young people. So I'm saying that this is for you, embrace it, and I would really like all of you, once you have the ability, you are here, to come out and be a part of this year's Vacation Professional Development Training Program 2025. And I just want to also add one last thing. You know, we have the SCA results, and we have celebrated that our secretary, Ms. Orisha Hackett, would have held a news conference and would have indicated to Tobago how our students have performed. Now, at this point in time, we have an onset of persons requesting transfers. And I would like to take this opportunity to say to parents that at the end of the day, what determines where a child is placed is that SCA examination. And yes, I know some people eventually, they desire a transfer. And there is a process to apply for that transfer, you must ensure, first of all, that you register the child at the school the child has been assigned to. Right. And when you go to register the child, then you make the request to the personnel who are there that you are interested in a transfer. They will give you the form, you will fill it out, you will leave it with the school. And the school will then ensure that that application meets us at the Division of Education, Research and Technology. But at the end of the day, as educators, as a responsible division, we say very confidently and boldly that all our 9 high schools are effective and excellent schools, and they cater for the needs of all our children.
Absolutely, absolutely amazing, amazing stuff. I mean, you know, I want to endorse that as well. I know a lot of parents, they kind of want to move to another school for whatever reason it might be. It could be transportation, it could be anything. Yes. But let us be reminded that all schools are equipped with all the essential things that are necessary for the education of your child, the education and well-being of your child. So, you know, that you can also consider that wherever the child was placed, you can consider, let's take the child there. We've been speaking with Mrs. Sherry Ann Rollox, Hackett School Supervisor 3, and we spoke primarily about the Tobago Educators Professional Development Program that takes place during the July-August vacation period right here on the island of Tobago, engaging all of our educators, administrators, and anybody who is into education on the island of Tobago. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio, and as we go, we invite you to help us.
Share the live, share the live, share the live.
We'll be right back.
Are you ready to celebrate the essence of Crusoe land and the culture of Tobago? Well, get ready for Tobago Day in New York City, hosted by the Tobago Empowerment and Alliance Mission, Sunday, August 17th, 2025, Nazareth High School Courtyard, 475 East 57th Street, Brooklyn, New York, 12 noon to 8 p.m. We bring the Tobago vibes to the Big Apple. Live music, Tobago food, cultural performances, and family fun. So bring Tanty, Granny, the uncle, invite the whole neighborhood. Just bring everybody and bring your significant other too. Come celebrate Tobago Day in New York City, Sunday, August 17th, Nazareth High School Courtyard. But I forget to tell all you, it's the 10th anniversary celebration. For more information, call 929-327-7857 or check Team's Facebook and Instagram pages, Team Tobago Day.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 GB fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Hey, I see girls, I see fun, I see winding up in the sun, I see 10 bottle of rum, DJ start the thing, let me jump. Cause I see girls, I see fun, I see winding up in the sun, I see 10 girls to a man, DJ start the thing like we ramage. When my team touch down, everything get wild. Hey, hey, hey. Take out your flag and fling it up. Take out something and fling it up. Fling it up, fling it up high. Hey, hey, hey. Start to jump up and fling it up. Take out something and
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
My name is Tina Macmillan, your last year's third place winner and the Miss Photogenic for last year's Miss Heritage Personality Show. And this year, I want to carry you with me for my Tobago Heritage experience. I'll be hosting with Tobago Updates, bringing you live coverage behind the scenes and also their giveaways, tickets to the heritage events, and a 2-night stay to the Mandalina Grand. So you need to stay locked on to Tobago Updates on all their social media platforms, Keena Macmillan on Facebook and originalmedusa.tt on TikTok. My Tobago Heritage Experience with Tobago Updates. Stay tuned.
Do something and roll back, come let me reel. I make a brush back, brush back. Do something and roll back, come let me reel. I make a brush back, brush back. Do something and do something.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We continue conversations this morning and we speak with Mr. Edison Thomas, and he is the marketing specialist of the Tobago Information and Technology Limited. Of course, you know, it's summertime, July-August vacation period, and of course we try to find some place to place our children, and the STEM camp is a good place, and so he's here to talk about that this morning. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you guys. Glad being here on the show once again.
That's right.
Yeah. Right. So Edison Thomas, marketing specialist from TITL, a title as everybody affectionately calls it. And I'm here to speak about STEM Camp 2025. But before we go into our segment, I just want to announce just a little giveaway on the program live. We're doing this live, right? So we have our rock stars up at the contact center, ready and waiting at the 211 contact center to host this live giveaway. So please pay attention to the rules, all right? So here are the rules. Everyone who is listening now, who has an interest of their child attending STEM Camp 2025, which we're going to explain in this segment, please call our contact center at 211. It's toll free. You're giving them the access phrase, I am going to STEM 2025, all right? And at the end of this segment, we're going to announce who is the live winner live on the program before we leave, all right?
Excitement.
If it is that you have already registered your child and you already made a down payment, then we will refund you. If you have already registered and haven't paid as yet, then the cost will be free, registration will be free, right? One lucky person would be will have the opportunity to give their child award that opportunity. All right.
It's a little bit unfortunate that I'm sitting here this morning because, I mean, STEM camp, I've had experience with STEM camp and it is very engaging. You hear the children talking about, Mommy, I know everything about a drone. How could you possibly know everything about a drone? Well, I learned it in camp and I know where drones come from and how to make a drone and all of these things that you engage the young children in. So I want to talk about a little bit about the program itself. What can we expect from the program and what is the age group that you're targeting for the camp?
All right, so the program comes under the STEM Academy. Last year, at the end of the last STEM, we would announce the STEM Academy, which we put the STEM camp and many other STEM activities under that umbrella to brand that program. Right, so the STEM camp, which is our flagship product from the STEM Academy, is a July-August vacation program where we take the children into modules of STEM disciplines. STEM meaning science, technology, engineering, and maths. There's some arts and stuff mixed in it as well. The age group is 7 to 11, and then there's a 12 to 17 years age group as well. So we cover primary school all the way up to finishing secondary school.
Okay.
Right? So we have tailored programs in each of the STEM disciplines to cater to the two age group that you see listed there, right? So science, technology, engineering, and math. We talk about drones and stuff like that. That is under the technology aspect, robotics aspect, where we take the kids into the process of building a drone up, but not only building the drone, but understanding how the drone works, how it flies, the science behind how the lift is achieved, and everything like that. So after they build and program it, they get to fly it. Right, so that's how the child came over and said, I know everything about our drone because we really teach them the science behind the drone, not just buying a drone for them for Christmas and just lay them fly, but they actually have the science and the knowledge behind the drone as well. Yeah.
And I see, I've passed through the camp and I saw how the children are engaging and I see videos in terms of, for instance, building a circuit for the light switch and all of these things. So is it safe to assume that the engagement is hands-on in terms of the getting not just the theory of it, but the practical aspect in terms of you're going to build this today and you're going to see it work?
Yes, so the camp is about 90% hands-on, right? It's a totally different experience you're going to get from the school experience, which is mostly theory. We actually take the kids through a hands-on learning experience so that they could actually do the work that they see that they're reading about. They talk about the circuits, right? So it's not only bringing in a sheet and showing them how the circuit is on paper, but they actually get to build the circuit. They get to program the circuit. Last year they did smart home automation. So not only they built the circuit, but they learned to control it using smart home technology where they would be able to switch it on and off from their phones or for voice commands and everything like that. So it's really a hands-on learning experience. There was the circuit, there was the building the battle bots, right? There was also, well, this year, let me go on to what we get this year. This year, we're going to take them into a lot of science and technology, a lot of science as well. So mixes and solutions. They're going to be actually mixing and doing chemical reactions. They're going to actually be looking into the microscope to see the cells that they can't see with the naked eye, right? These are things that the schools might they will take you into it, but not in depth as we are going to expose them to it, to inspire them into really going into that field, because it's not about getting the head knowledge, right? What we are trying to accomplish is that we want to inspire the kids into really taking up this field as a serious career path, because Tobago, we want to be able to usher a new age of innovation in Tobago, right? Not just to have that so many kids in Tobago with that knowledge in STEM, right, could only bode well for the island's future development.
Okay, and what is the cost if persons want to know what the cost of the camp is?
Right, so the cost is $1,200. The camp duration is 3 weeks long, all right? and the course includes everything except for meals, daily meals. All right. So the only thing is that you have to send a child with meals, but the camp course includes everything, camp materials, and a field trip to Trinidad to experience VR World in SBCS. All right. So SBC, we partner with SBS in Trinidad. VR is an integral part. Virtual reality is an integral part of our program this year, and so we only saw it fit to take them to the premier VR space that we have in the country. All right. So we're going to be taking them down for 1 day. Right, the different age groups, and we're going to be engaging them in the VR space where there's a VR escape room, VR virtual experiences, and everything like that. And we come back and we continue the camp, right? So it really is an all-encompassing camp full of activities for the age groups involved. Yeah.
Viewers, have you all called 211 yet? Because as I said before, I'm sorry I'm sitting here this morning. I said I've been the first one to dial that number. Because when you hear about all that you are teaching and engaging the children in, and I don't think the trip to Trinidad was part of it last year. Was that? So that's something new you're introducing?
Something completely new. And seeing as though it's the biggest STEM camp we're going to, because every year is the biggest STEM, right? Because we have been increasing steadily in numbers as the years go by. This year is the biggest STEM camp. We already have the first cycle filled to capacity. So if you're calling now to register a child, you're going to be in the second cycle, right? But it's going to be a logistical task to take all the kids to Trinidad, but trust and believe we our rock stars up at the center, we are going to get it done, and trust and believe all the kids will be safe and they're gonna have fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good thing. Like you say, make a call, call 211.
Yes.
Get your child registered.
Yeah, I really like hands-on teaching, learning experiences, because now the child gets to see that they can do things that they might see on TV, or they might look at a YouTube video and they might see somebody doing something and thinking to themselves, wow, this is amazing.
And they might think it's too far away from them,
right.
Too far away from their capabilities. But with the hands-on teaching, they realize that, no, I can do this thing. We could do this thing.
Yeah, and trust me, been observing it now for the past 3 years. And I have been seeing on a first-hand basis how this camp has been really inspiring kids to go into, because we get some of the kids from standard 5, right? Or even Form 2 and Form 1. And when you do the follow-up a couple years later, they literally tell you, sir, because they go back into the schools. Sir, I choose IT. I choose science because I went to the camp last year and I really feel like I could really go into this thing, right? So the camp is really doing God's work when it comes to innovation on this island, and really doing the job it's supposed to do in inspiring the young kids into going into STEM fields. So what I want to also do is give some shout out to Signal Hill Primary School, because the camp has grown beyond the doors of Tittle now. And so there's a beautiful space that we identified with the Signal Hill Primary School, and we did some collaborations with the principal there, and they allowed us to host the camp at the Signal Hill Primary School this year. So we now have the space to host the biggest STEM camp, right? That we have ever hosted.
But how do you, I'm happy that you have a bigger space, but does it have the capacity in terms of, I know you have to have equipment, and would you be able to move all of those things over there?
Well, the beauty of the Signal Hill Primary School is that it's walking distance from our headquarters in Signal Hill. So everything that we need is just across the road, right? So the infrastructure in terms of the computers, the laptops and everything, the internet availability, everything is going to be shifted over there. And we're going to make out this space into a true innovation and learning space. Well, it already is because it's our school, right? But really kit it out for the needs of the camp because there's not too much stuff to carry back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do hope that you update us with the camp as you set up the village there in the school,
Yes,
with the
yes,
equipment
yes.
and see the children kind of interacting with it. Any calls came in yet? That's what I'm interested in. Any calls came in yet?
It came in a while ago.
Okay.
Actually.
All right. Let me allow the winner to claim their prize.
At 7:48, right, I got the message on my phone, and so we got the name of the child, who is Shamfa Melville, and the name of the parent is Skylar Jack, right? So congratulations to you. Shamfa Melville has won herself a spot at STEM Camp 2025, all right?
Congratulations, Shamfa.
The contact center would have already gotten their details, right? And parents who did not get through, don't worry, still, your information is there. Still have your child attend the camp. I assure you it will be an experience that they will not forget and one that they can carry with on their journeys for the rest of their lives.
Thank you so much, Edison Thomas, our marketing specialist at Tittle, talking about STEM Camp 2025. Before we go to a break, are you planning home improvements this summer? Great news, Tobago Glass Supplies is having a massive summer sale. This is your chance to get heavy-duty door frames with sizes from 28 by 80 up to 72 by 80. Perfect for any renovation or build. Don't miss their summer savings, their summer of savings. Visit Tobago Glass Supplies at Rousseau Trace Spring Garden or call them on 639-6266. That is 639-6266. Remember, Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, reflecting quality. Go get those deals. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations this morning. And as we go, we invite you to help us.
Share the live, share the live, share the live.
We'll be right back.
Do you think you know Premier League or Champions League football? What about international cricket or the IPL and CPL? How about NBA basketball? Well, now you can put your skills to work to earn some extra cash by betting on the games with TT Bet Arena. Simply go to our website, choose a sport you want to bet on, find the games and place your bets. And with your computer or mobile device, you can bet from anywhere. Just go to ttbetarena.com, sign up for a free account, make a deposit, and start betting. It's that simple. You can even qualify for our $2,000 sign-up bonus. We also have horse racing, plus live casino games where you can bet using TT dollars. And check our new Tobago location at 7B Milford Road, Crown Point. For more info, call or WhatsApp 494-0634. TT Bet Arena, the #1 sports betting company in Trinidad and Tobago.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam. You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And we have in studio with us promoter Dwayne Edwards, and he's here to talk about Tequila Sunset 2025. Good morning and welcome, Mr. Edwards.
Good morning, sir.
Tequila Sunset 2025. Tell us.
Tequila Sunset 2025 is here again. It's actually 4 years now we've been doing this event. And it's a really great event. And it started off in Boko 4 years ago when Tobago Carnival started, and it's been growing every year. And this year is actually, I'm looking forward to this year because it's going to be actually very, very, very good.
Okay, so Tequila Sunset is a Tobago Carnival event.
Yes.
Okay, and tell us what really inspired you to get this event started?
Well, approximately 5 years ago, I was actually sitting in my dad's backyard, and it was about 5 p.m. that afternoon, and I was having a glass of tequila, and the sunset was really good. Actually, a rainbow was there, and I said, you know what? This would be a good idea to do a party, an event like this, and bring it to Tobago.
Okay, and over the last 4 years of this event, what has the support been like from the public?
Well, the support been pretty well. The Tobagonians came out, a lot of Trinidadians, and actually a lot of foreigners actually come to this event. It's an all-inclusive premium event, meaning you have all-inclusive premium like Hennessy, tequila, obviously, Johnny Walker, and all the local drinks. It's an unlimited amount, and it's a great event where people actually come out, and we actually adding 2 bars this year, because last year we had 1 bar, and it wasn't congested, but we wanted people to have an experience where they could come and really enjoy this event.
Get their drinks, walk out quickly, get back into the event, that kind of thing.
Yes. Actually, upon entry, we have a tequila station where you're having shots upon entry of tequila, and then we have 2 separate bars as you enter as well.
Okay, and tell us, give us like ticketing prices, what the theme of this year is going to be, what could people expect from this year in terms of ambience and that kind of thing?
Well, this year actually we're going with a sunset edition where we actually suggest people, it's not mandatory, but suggest people to wear like sunset colors, for example, yellow, gold, rust, even white. We actually starting last week. We have an early bird special, which is only $2.99. As you know, in Trinidad and Tobago, premium all-inclusive actually starts from $1,000 and up.
Yes.
But this year, we're actually giving back, and we say, no, we want the locals and even the foreigners to get an early bird special, which is going to be for another week or so, from $2.99 or $50 US.
Okay, and in terms of like entertainment, was your lineup like? You have soca stars coming out, was it DJ cast, like that kind of thing?
Well, actually, Tequila, we have a really great cast of the best local DJs and foreign DJs as well. And we are surprise guest artists as well, so that's going to be there.
All right. And if persons want to buy tickets, where can they find outlets?
Okay, so in Tobago, you can go to Tobago Glass Supply. We actually have physical tickets there. And you could go to islandetickets.com, and you can also go to frontlineticketing.com to get your tickets there.
Now, you said you've been doing the event for 4 years now, and you said you've been getting good support over the years. What has the growth of your event been like over the past 4 years? And where do you think you want to carry the event in the future?
Well, actually, starting year one, we had approximately maybe 150 people then, the first year. And last year, we actually did over 300 people. And this year, we're actually trying to bring it to between 400 to 500 people this year. My ultimate goal experience is to take tequila throughout the Caribbean and even abroad. So that's my actual goal.
So you really want to cement Tequila Sunset as a brand within the entertainment industry, not only in Tobago, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but across the region.
That's correct.
All right. So you could just give the audience one last plug for your event.
Okay, so Trinidad and Tobago and even the world, I encourage you to come to Tequila. Tequila is going to be fabulous as usual. As I said, we have an early bird special that started last week and is going to be going for another week of $2.99 Trinidad and Tobago dollars and $50 US. You're going to come out. You're going to get your early bird shot of tequila upon entry. We're going to have 2 separate bars as well for unlimited premium drinks. As I said, tequila, Don Julio, Hennessy, Johnny Walker, vodka, and all the local drinks. Also encourage you to wear sunset shades of gold, orange, yellow, white. The ambience there is going to be great. It's a poolside venue, so we also encourage you to you can wear upscale swimwear outfit if you like. Let's make it, classy. The venue is down in Canaan. It's called Imperial Suites. They have a really nice venue there, and I really encourage you guys to come out early and get your drinks on. They have unlimited food as well, so it's the best of the best for a very, very, very cheap price.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Dwayne Edwards, event promoter, talking about Tequila Sunset 2025, this Tobago Carnival, October. Do not miss Tequila Sunset Premium All-Inclusive event. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we've come to the end of the Tobago Updates morning show, but our programming doesn't end there. We move on now to GMT. So do us a favor, share the live, share the live, share the live. GMT is up next.
The strength of our resilience towards disaster preparedness and the strength of our resilience to the impacts of climate change, while it is grounded in our capacity and our capability in terms of our responsiveness, the resources that are available to us, while it is indicative as well as of our technical capabilities and how we are trained to prepare. But I want to tell you this morning that our resilience is also grounded in the fact and also largely dependent on how much we can collaborate with each other.
But when we look at our landscape, on our inner cities and also our rural communities, they are highly vulnerable to hydrometeorological events. And therefore it's important for these stakeholders, our stakeholders, to understand exactly what is happening with the hydrometeorological impact on our exposure. For example, our coastal community, our slopes, slope failures, fallen trees, our utilities, and what is going on with our infrastructure. We have seen where funding has become a major issue in terms of rehabilitation and recovery. And therefore, I think it is necessary for all of Tobago to understand the importance, therefore, of resiliency. And this session will allow us to have a true picture as to what is exactly happening, not just the negative, but also how we can merge our resources together.
One of the things that we're looking forward to is having pods in every community so that when a disaster hits, they're not looking at Speyside to get a chainsaw. They would have it within their own community. They'll be able to respond to their own community emergency response. So another thing, as Dario was mentioning, was making sure that we know who are the vulnerable within our community, where is the loose roof that's in our community, so that we know even beforehand how we can address these issues.
I am a returning national. I recently came back to the island, back in April, and I wanted all the information that I could get, really, because I'm worried about what I don't know. And so far, it's a lot. So it really is about the information so that I could be prepared for what is to come. I'm so glad that I'm here, and I already picked up a few things that I need to actually learn some more about. So I think they're absolutely vital.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly. You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We active, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix. And you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Yesterday afternoon, the Division of Education, Research and Technology held a press conference following the release of the secondary entrance examination. Secretary of the Division, Zorisha Hackett, said the island's 2025 results reveal both promising progress and areas needing further attention for Tobago's educational development. School Supervisor 2, Mr. Philip Rochford, spoke of a new SEA assessment framework to be rolled out from 2025 to 2028 as part of the newly implemented strategies to bridge the gap between students learning learning and performance at exams, while planning coordinator of the Office of the Chief Secretary, Bobby Andrews, presented an analysis of the results by gender and year, highlighting specific trends in performance between male and female students over time, providing crucial insights for targeted educational intervention and policy adjustments in Tobago. His data showed that the average student on the island faced great challenges at mathematics. Additionally, following a viral video showing a physical altercation that reportedly took place on a tour boat, glass-bottom boat operators are calling for a boycott of no man's land. According to the boat owners, the incident highlights ongoing issues of unfair treatment, lack of proper regulation, and disputes over access and control of the popular tourist spots. Speaking to Tobago Updates, Michael Frank, owner of Frankie's Tours, said following a meeting, tour boat operators have unanimously decided to revert to original tour routes that was in place prior to COVID-19 pandemic. This route did not include no man's land. He said they believe the decision will maintain order, ensure guest safety, and preserve the quality of the tour experience. In recent times, several food and beverage vendors have occupied the area, offering local cuisine and entertainment. However, there has been public concerns over sanitation and regulations of the spot. And finally, the National Maintenance Security Company, MTS, is reportedly owed a staggering $700 million by several government and state agencies from services rendered. This from Estate Police Association President Derek Richardson, who says the Ministry of Education alone has accumulated almost half of the owed amount. He further stated the company's management is finding it difficult to pay staff salaries on a monthly basis, adding that the company has been left with a heavy financial burden. Richardson said many of the workers who currently earn minimum wage per hour are reeling from the effects which has affected their personal lives and credit ratings. He said many MTS staff members are being turned away from financial institutions when attempting to apply for loans. Richardson called for the Minister of Finance, Dave Tanku, to use the supplementary budget allocation to settle outstanding payments for the period between 2013 to 2025. And that was our news in 90 seconds. Guys, this morning we are talking about one of our headline items. You heard in our news in 90 seconds that there was an altercation that happened on that one of those boats, those reef boats that you see those reef tour operators usually operate between that Store Bay, No Man's Land, Pigeon Point area. And this morning we're going to talk a bit about that. Now that video that has been circulating, which my producer might show to you. I'm not sure if he will, or you might catch a glimpse of that if you are unaware of what we're talking about. This morning, I have the privilege of sitting here in studio with one of the prominent members of that Tour Operators Association. We have CEO of Frankie Tours, Mr. Michael Frank. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you and to the public.
Right. I mean, it's unfortunate that we have to meet this morning under these circumstances. You've been in the business for quite a long time. As I showed you this morning, a photo of when I just started in 2015. I did an interview with you, in Store Bay, and at the time you still maintain your position of one of the prominent boat tour operators in Tobago. And you've done an excellent job at that, right? But, over time, we've seen that the lack of regulations surrounding boat tour operations within that area has caused some issues. We have a number of unqualified persons who are usually around that area soliciting persons to take tours. And now I can't speak for the persons who are actually operating the boats because I personally am not aware of who the individuals are that operate the tours and if they are separate and apart from the guys who are outside on the street at the entrance of Store Bay soliciting persons to go on those tours. And so with the lack of regulations, you often find persons who are unqualified or not in the type of behavior or having the type of conduct that one would want to be portrayed to tourists as being a representation of the Tobago tourism product. Talk to us a bit about what has been done over time to try to regulate the industry.
All right. Let's start from a little way back. Tourism in Tobago has been one of the mainstay of the public. Tourism, especially Store Bay, Pigeon Point, Glass Bottom Boat, employ thousands of people. Thousands of people depend on it for their daily bread, either directly or indirectly. That goes on to No Man's Land and all other sections, from glass bottom boats to people selling food to people taxiing. It's a very wide-ranging business. Now, the direct challenge that we have, as you said, is maybe a whole lot of people touting. Now, these people can come from many different walks of life. There are people from every sector, from the hotels to the guest house to taxi drivers to just the guy on the street. Glass bottom boat has become a situation where everybody can make an easy dollar off of the actual product. The reason for that is because, as you said, it's unregulated and it comes like anybody can sell a tour and everybody can sell a tour. Now, although we have checks and balances in place for you selling a tour, it still boils down to anybody can just print a ticket. And once the person comes and pay their money to you, you're obviously going to let them on. It's business. You're not going to turn it away. And that goes like that for maybe the last 10 years. Now, it's difficult to nip it in the bud. The reason being, it is so widespread and it's going to every single sector of glass bottom boat. And as I would have said before, maybe the only solution is maybe go back to the original ticketing system where you have to purchase a ticket in one spot. But that also has its complications. Because what will happen is that somebody might book something beforehand, pre-book something, and then if they come and they have to go into a ticketing system where they have to go again and like usually rebook it again, they might not want to go on this particular boat or that particular boat.
No, okay, I'm glad that you raised that. We're going to continue. But I'm glad that you raised that as being a key concern. Because Trinidad and Tobago is not the only place where these type of boating systems operate. Now, we have a lot of places throughout the world. We could even look at first world countries like the Netherlands, where you often see they have those boat tours going through the canals. Persons are able to pre-book and they come and they scan their QR code before they go onto the boat. Or they can purchase a ticket right there at, at that place, right? So in terms of regulating the industry, there are frameworks that we can look at that works. A person can go up to the ticket booth and choose which boat they want to go on based on the time that the boat is leaving. If you want to make it fair, you work along with the guys who own the boats to ensure that you stagger the times so that everybody might not leave the same time. So the people will leave at a particular time. So, from looking at how, international countries operate when it comes to boating, don't you see where if you guys can come to the table, sit, have that discussion and, put out proper recommendations on how to regulate the industry, that this could help to improve a lot of the ticketing issue?
All right. I'm really happy you mentioned the Netherlands. They have a very perfect system. Now, what happened in the Netherlands? Well, I tend to look into anything tourism anywhere I am in the world. And what happens in the Netherlands is that they have not just one ticketing system, but every boat have its own ticketing position. So if you book for boat A, you can go to maybe over the Canal Bridge, if you book a boat C, you can go up in the promenade. That's how they do it. That is a very nice projection here, and that can apply here and work. So the system, the problem where we have where people book and have to go somewhere else when they book for that would be eliminated immediately. The thing about it, we do not have the infrastructure for that. And we have talked about this before, where they build multiple booths for we can do it for ourselves. We just need the position to build multiple booths for ourselves where you can go and purchase whichever boat you want to go to. So it's not all coming into one system, but Frankie Tours would have his booth, another boat would have his booth, another boat would have his booth. So when the person comes, they know exactly where they're going. That eliminates all that problem. Then there's no need for people all over the place selling tickets and all that. That's a really good thing. And I've looked at Netherlands a couple of times already. I've been on their boat many a times, and I like how they operate.
I like it too.
Yeah. So,
and I think it's something that we can look at that framework and see how we can pattern it, because it also removes that element of allowing anybody who just decide that, today I just want to go down to Storby and hustle.
Yeah, it does.
So you remove.
It's a very nice. It's a very nice.
Now you have had persons going on social media and expressing their total disgust with how this industry has evolved because of its unregulated nature, and therefore calling for legislation to help to structure the industry better. When we talk about legislation, we talk about legislation as it pertains to employment within the industry, stating that boat tour operators, assistants, engineers, whatever positions are there on the boat should be regulated and contracted. Persons should be given a proper means of employment, getting a stable paycheck and, that type of thing, so that they get NIS, all that comes with actually having a job. Therefore, they are employed like everyone else, and they don't just wake up and come down on the beach bareback and decide today, I could help out Frankie today.
All right. Well, it's not 100% accurate, because some people do have regular jobs. Some people do have a paycheck. Some people do have a permanent stay. Those are not the problem. The problems are the other people that comes in. You understand? As I said, just come down the road with a bareback and think that you could just jump in and do something. What we have is a problem with sometimes staffing. The original staff who is catered to work today might just decide that this is Trinidad and Tobago. He's not going to show. You understand?
Do they have contracts? Do they have employment contracts?
Some of them do.
Do they get paid NIS?
Yes, they get everything. They get all the benefits. So some of them get all the benefits, depending on what you do, how long you work, and what position you're working in. And it might not happen across the board, but it happens in some cases.
Right. So this type of regulation that I'm talking about, it will allow for the proper training of employees. Therefore, all boat tour operators and workers should be licensed in some sort of way, whether it be marine training, health and safety. It would make this mandatory. Talk to us about, if you think that this type of system will work, and if not, why?
That is already in the process. You think boat owners is not regulated? They are regulated.
No, I'm not talking about the owners.
No, I'm talking about general,
everybody who works on a boat.
All the people who is properly employed on a boat in any major position have to have captain license. You have to have some type of training, first aid, safety at sea, all these training courses you have to do before you actually start doing the job. So it's not just as easy as you think. Glass bottom boat also have a lot more than you do. You have to have insurance. Both have to have surveys every year. So there's a whole lot more that you don't know about that goes into glass bottom boat. It's not just about running up and down without no checks and balances. There are a lot of checks and balances. Maybe they can be more, but there are more. For instance, a car owner needs a license and insurance to operate. A boat needs license, insurance, survey. It needs you have a whole lot more. You need aids. There's a whole lot more that goes into it.
But what is stopping the industry from being strict with the enforcement and implementation of these requirements that are needed, i.e. the training for workers? I mean, it's not, okay, the training of being on sea, safety at sea and these things. That's one element. But they are frontline in Tobago's tourism product. And for many persons, they are the first or the most prominent persons that they interact with when they come to Tobago. So their interaction with these persons have a lasting impact on how they see Tobago people and the Tobago tourism product. The need for service training for these individuals that work on these boats is critical to ensuring that they understand their role in representing Tobago as a tourism product. And because sometimes, I'm sure you've been to Barbados and Grenada and these places, and you see how the average man on the beach, even selling coconuts, how they interact with you. They understand their overall role in representing the island, in being a part of that tourism product. What can we do? What should we be doing? What is being done to ensure that these persons that are on the front line, play their part?
All right. Barbados, Grenada, they all have a different system. The system they have is if you're going to operate on the boat, you need to acquire for a peddler's license, I think they call it. We do not have that here. So that's why anybody could just walk in and do it. But that could be implemented here as well. You could take their model. Their model is that if you have to operate on the beach, you require this license, which is a peddler. It's something like a tour guide license. Over the years, we had tour guide license. Before, everybody who is in the tour industry used to have a tour guide license. Now, anybody could go and do a tour. It is not just about glass bottom boat, it's about the whole tourism product. The entire product needs to be regulated in a way that people has to have more checks and balances. You could just wake up this morning and decide that you're going to become a tour guide and drive somebody around the island. Just like that. You don't need anything. And it should be regulated where people they require license to do that. You understand? And because that has not happened and there's no customer service, we are lacking behind in customer service by a million miles. So, and the entire tourism is dependent upon the country. So if you don't have no customer service, anybody could walk across the street and decide to cross the biggest obscenity in front of any tourist. Nobody does anything for that. That comes down to the customer service of the country. The problem is not, as I said, it's not just glass bottom, it's Tobago. People all around this island has no respect for themselves. As the country goes on, the whole thing is deteriorating more and more and more. That's why there are so much fights, that's why there's so much crime, there are so much everything is going backwards instead of forward.
Right, and even internally, among the Glass Bottom Boat Association, how are you dealing with this particular issue that occurred a couple of days ago? How are you managing this?
All right, so let's talk about that particular. There's a saying that anything happen in the sea is shark, right? If somebody go in the sea and somebody get bitten, it's always shark. All right, so I'm not pulling out for glass bottom boat because I know the situation happened. However, this fight has not eliminated on a glass bottom boat. This is land-based coming to a boat. We don't have knives, we don't have cutlass, we don't have any form of defense. And if somebody's running onto a vessel with a cutlass to attack somebody on a vessel, how do you want us to defend? We have captain and mates on board who have some type of degree of security. But still, we cannot control everything that runs off from shore. So the issue of they're saying that, okay, it's a glass bottom boat issue. I hear the point. But really and truly, is it we who is doing the fighting? No, we are trying to protect lambs. Because if somebody run onto our boat, there's tourists on our boat, we are trying to protect these tourists. We are trying to make sure that whoever comes onto the boat does not damage our clients. You understand? So there you are. We are fighting a battle where it's difficult to fight because there's a constant flow of people from on the outside trying to get in. You understand? And we have to try to stop them. We do not, as I said, we do not carry weapons. And we will not allow weapons to go on the boat. That's number one.
When it comes to security on the boat, you said, you are trained in security at sea courses. But when it comes to security on the boat, what has been done in the past and what is being recommended in the future to ensure law and order during these boat tours?
To be honest with you, there are no major type of security. The only type of security we have is we depend on our deckhands, which might be 2 or 3, and the captains to control law and order on the vessel. As I said, we don't carry weapons, so we depend on telling people, look, don't do this, don't do that, don't go here, don't do that. But when you are faced with external threat that comes in from outside, you don't know what they're coming with. And if somebody's running from a shore to a boat, then you can't stop it unless our crew is downstairs and could be able to fight them off downstairs. So it's not just a matter of glass bottom boat. It's a matter of how do you stop a threat from on the outside. It's difficult. And there are no system in place that is going to be there all the time for you. It's the same like if you're on land. If you're on the streets and somebody have a fight on the outside and you have a supermarket or a shop, the person will look for security. They will run into a building. You cannot stop the attacker from coming in unless you have lots of security there. And that's the same situation that is happening here. So, although, yes, glass bottom boat might have been in the position, it's a position that you can't really stop.
Right, and you know, we heard the Secretary for Finance in her budget presentation for 2026 fiscal year indicate that tourism is one of the major areas for investment. How is the industry, expecting to feel affected by that budget? How are you expecting it to trickle down to you? What do you want to see?
Well, the amount I want to see personally, I don't think they have enough in the budget to do it. But the fact remains that any little bit we get is a help. You know, there are so much ideas out there, so much ideas in our head spinning around. To get it into reality is a problem. There are too much red tapes. Making things happen is a problem. And then also, beside the red tapes, even if you do come with a solution, we move slow here. So you might have come with a solution today, and it would not interact or get into the heads until next 10 years.
Right. But you see the Secretary indicating that now tourism-based businesses are, being welcomed to apply for BDU grants, loans, and other facilities that are available to give funding to enhance businesses. From the perspective of the Reef Tour Operators Association, are you doing the work to alert, members of the industry that, hey, these things are available for us to now take advantage of to help move and progress the industry?
Well, I'm sure most of them or all of them would have already seen what they said and read what they said. So it's out there to be taken if you want to take it. Money does not fix the problem, to be honest with you. What we need is more stringent application of laws, more stringent application of policing. The beach has become a free fall. And because it become a free fall, it has to be stopped somewhere. We have to have something that stops everything from just coming in however it wants and doing whatever. So although money could play a part into that, maybe it's better to be used as a more proactive defense than active defense. I want to stop things before it happens. Things like where we just talked about where somebody can run from shore to onto a boat, that should be prevented there. You're not even supposed to take a weapon on no man's land. This is a tourism area. So why is it there in the first place? Why people could be openly walking around on the beach or the street with a firearm in their hand, or in their waist? These things has to be stopped before they can get to them, because these are what is creating the problem. It's trickling in slowly because the lawlessness of the country is falling apart. It's on every sector, you can see it.
So, there's a police station that is not too far away from the Storby Beach. You calling for more patrols on the beach. And there are security officers who are assigned to Storby, but they are not equipped to deal with the type of activities that we see happening there. So are you calling for greater patrols from the police station nearby on the beach on a regular basis?
Well, I'm not saying the police is not doing a good job. They do a really good job. And especially those bikers that drive around, they do a really good job. But there are only few. And they can't be everywhere all the time. Also, there could be other form of monitoring. Maybe more cameras. They can pick up hotspot before it happens if they have camera in place in all the different sectors that the hotspot might occur. The security on Storby, they don't have any teeth. They're just women or men walking around with their hands. They can't stop anything. They can't do anything really. Unless you give them some teeth. Maybe give them a firearm. Maybe give them some type of thing that people could respect. They're just there. They're just like me and you walking around the streets. You know something? The biggest safety net we have may be the same community that live in Strawberry or Pigeon Point, because they would protect their industry because they know this is where they're making their bread and butter from. So if somebody come in acting strange or doing something strange or even trying to thief something, the community just come together to fight them. You understand? So that might be our biggest security. But the thing about it, we are still just normal persons. We are not trained to deal with this. But of course, we can stop somebody thieving something because that will affect us in the long run.
Understood. Well, Mr. Frank, we want to thank you so much for your time this morning. And we hope that some intervention, gets done that helps to regulate the industry and enforce effective policies for the further development of that industry, which is a front-facing view of Tobago's tourism product. So we're going to take a quick break right here and we'll be back with much more conversation right after this. See you soon.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions, powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
Are you ready to celebrate the essence of Crusoe land and the culture of Tobago? Well, get ready for Tobago Day in New York City, hosted by the Tobago Empowerment and Alliance Mission, Sunday, August 17, 2025, Nazareth High School Courtyard, 475 East 57th Street, Brooklyn, New York, 12 noon to 8 p.m. We bring the Tobago vibes to the Big Apple. Live music, Tobago food, cultural performances, and family fun. So bring Tanty, Granny, the uncle, invite the whole neighborhood. Just bring everybody and bring your significant other too. Come celebrate Tobago Day in New York City, Sunday, August 17th, Nazareth High School Courtyard. But hey, I forget to tell all you, it's we 10th anniversary celebration. For more information, call 929-327-7857 or check Team's Facebook and Instagram pages, Team Tobago Day.
Dance Ensemble Tobago presents our signature event, Tobago Dance Sport Championship and Dancing with the Caribbean Stars. Lights, cameras, dance, our 12th edition on Saturday the 12th of July, 5 p.m. The Chopin Cultural Complex Auditorium. See our dancers, all ages, compete in waltz, jive, rumba, salsa, mambo, and much more. Our Dancing with the Caribbean Stars. Who will take home the Mirror Ball Trophy? Mrs. Tatiana Ned Augustine, the wife of the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly. Miss Lynette Louis, vocalist entertainer. Mrs. Cassandra Thompson Forbes, journalist and Tobago correspondent. Mr. Javon Carrington, founder and head trainer of Dosfit Studios. And Mr. Julian Skeet, administrator and former TV host. After show, dance party with DJ Santa out of Trinidad. Early bird tickets, adults $200, children $75, and general tickets, adults $250 and children $100. Get your early bird tickets now from Dance Ensemble members, D&D Jewelers at Tobago United Cooperative, Milford the 24 gas station in Canaan, and the Chopin Cultural Complex box office. For more information, you call 772-9049 and 340-5758. You can't miss this one.
morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Again, I am your host, Chanel Felix. This morning, we continue our conversation by talking about all that's happening in the environment. I have the privilege of sitting in studio and chatting with Mr. Bertrand Bekhari, who is the president of Environment Tobago. Good morning and welcome.
Hi there, good morning.
Right, so this morning we're talking about a project that brings environmental awareness to the public and talks about their rights. Let's tell us a bit about that.
Well, specifically, it is about strengthening civil society, which we call the non-profits, non-governmentals, to take a more active part in knowing and understanding their environmental rights. But we refer to that as rights. You'd ask what's so important about that, given all the more dramatic things that are happening. But if people are not aware of the value of the environment and their rights to enjoy it, their quality of life diminishes, and therefore everybody just has less of a good time.
Right. And tell us, what are some of our environmental rights?
That's fairly easy. You're entitled to clean air as a human being. All living things should have clean air, good water, and an amenable, a nice space to live in. Nice depends on whatever keeps you living well.
Right. So living in a society where you have unclean air quality or not being provided with clean water, what can a person do to enforce their own rights?
So we'll enter that easily. Your entitlement is to have good air, good water, a good place to live. If you live in a society, you understand and expect that laws put in place would sort of safeguard the entire way of work, way of living. So the more powerful people who are bent on development don't infringe on your rights. So long and short, you hope that the state would take care of the things that would make you enjoy the quality of your life.
Understood. And so tell us what these activities are looking like. What is happening and how can persons become engaged with this campaign?
Generally, people just need to know that they have a right to clean air, good water, and a climate that's not changing too fast to impact the quality of life. Once you are aware of the things that the state should provide you, you could then hold the state to accountability. If the person in the street find that it's too big a step, the nearest step that is not government but is close to government would be your non-government groups, your civil society actors. We are working with those groups to allow them to, for instance, make freedom of information queries against the act so they can know who's doing what as it may affect them. On another level, we also working with the Environmental Commission, which is a court, a high court in Trinidad and Tobago, to allow the person in the street to carry their grievances to court. Long and short, we want to help you to access these things that are already there. And the third bit is there are international rules that protect us in case our local laws don't cover it. You've seen some cases where we needed outside help.
Right. So let's say, for instance, I'm living in a community and a businessman decides that he's opening a factory nearby, and that factory has now started polluting the air in my area. How do I, as an individual, approach a situation like that to get justice?
If you're just an ordinary person in the street and you feel that your comfort is being interfered with, your nearest bet in the Tobago space, for instance, would be to contact the offices of the EMA. There's a department, and they would know the correct things to do. If you wanted to know more, well, these days AI actually helps you. If you don't know how to use artificial intelligence, you just seek your nearest representative who is concerned about the quality of life. And then the third thing, there's actually an environment. There's a department within the policing that helps you with this sort of advice.
Right. And tell us about the use of international organization and international courts of law as it pertains to the enforcement of these environmental laws. What situations tend to arise that would prompt a country or a company to go to these organizations to have those rights enforced?
Well, usually the companies are the ones who would break the better way of doing things. If you're living in a small island space like Tobago, and you feel that an oil spill would have happened, but it happened because of international actors from outside. International law has a bigger coverage. They work within treaties and conventions, and they have an international court. So we do need outside law, international law, to help with what we call cross-border issues or transboundary issues. A simple case would be, for instance, if something happens in Guyana for an oil spill or mercury from gold mining, we are the next in line for pollution. If we did something wrong, Grenada would be the victim of a pollution. So long and short, cross-border issues are aided by international law.
Excellent. Well, it's so important for us to know this information and know that not just on an individual level, but as a country, as an island, that there are avenues that we can seek to get redress for any issues that may be affecting our quality of life as it pertains to, tapping into resources from those international organizations. Tell us a bit more about the work that's being done by Environment Tobago as it pertains to raising awareness about, environmental rights.
So, working together with the Caribbean Natural Resources Institute, CANARI, we obtained a grant from the European Union. These larger outside states are interested in helping us to not become problems to the bigger, cleaner way of doing things. So they fund NGOs, for instance. We go to the public. In this case, we are going to about 30 civil society groups who may have an appetite for taking on gray issues, dirty issues, or potentially politically messy issues. And we are building their capacity. Whatever their needs are, we try to work with it. But specifically, we're helping them to make noise. We call that advocacy, helping them with their advocacy.
Excellent. Well, even as it pertains to the educational aspect of this, you are raising awareness among the public, but it's important to have the younger generation from a very early age understand environmental impact as well as environmental rights, that we have a right to, clean water and, clean air. Is there any aspect of it that is educating students and children?
Given the scope of the project and the constraints, as always with time and budget, we're working with civil society groups and focusing on marginalized groups like women, single women, unemployed, or the catchment of the group. If they're lacking in some area, for instance, their attention to youth issues and the youth catchment, we help with that if they ask for it, although we point out to them the importance of having an inclusive membership.
Right. So is it that NGOs and, small nonprofits can come to Environment Tobago now to get funding?
So we have issued...
Explain how this works.
So over the last year and a half, we have issued calls directly to registered NGOs. So you find it's a quieter level, but we've been working at that level a long time. So people who do good work, their work is recognized, and we ask them where they feel they can do better work or where they felt that they needed help. So that's the level at which we can come in here.
So is it financial assistance?
It is financial or technical assistance to build their ability to highlight the need for knowing environmental rights constraints.
Okay, so have you worked with local NGOs already? Who are some of the NGOs that you've worked with? Because we know there are NGOs like Tobago CivilNet and a number of other NGOs. Which NGOs have you been working with?
We send the invitations out, and remember, this topic could be seen to be boring.
Right.
So we work with who answer, and we have good conversations going on with the Tobago Writers Guild, the Tobago Wildlife Protection Group. You've seen these things happen virtually, but you've seen Save Our Sea Turtles had an event over the weekend to bring awareness of how to conduct, how to review proper EIAs.
There's Eric in Charlottesville.
Eric is not included, but that is their choice. I guess they were busy.
Okay. Understood. Well, we want to thank you so much for, coming on this morning and letting persons know, organizations, NGOs know that they can tap into the resources that you are providing as it pertains to helping to amplify their voice when it comes to climate change, climate resilience, environmental impact, environmental rights. Tell persons how they can contact you or reach out to your organization, Environment Tobago, to tap into some of the resources that you currently have.
To contact us, you need to understand how you come into us. Environment Tobago is easily gotten on the internet. Again, a simple Google. You can actually call me directly. I'll repeat the number here. 620-2080, 620-2080. And we will have conversations, because usually it's just a question of guiding you to the proper state entity or people who can actually help. These days we're interested in helping groups, because we're not a government entity, we're just an NGO. We can work with other NGOs, so Tobago in this conversation can have a stronger civil group. And no, I haven't worked with CivilNet, but one of our directors is a director of CivilNet, and we do interact. So we do hope CivilNet, you know how these things work, there's cross-fertilization of ideas.
Understood. Well, again, we want to thank you so much for your time here this morning. And if there's anything that you were unable to let us know, this might be your opportunity to.
I'd make a call to the public to pay attention to what's going on in the boring spaces, like environmental impact assessments, making requests to the Freedom of Information Act, speaking to the Ombudsman. The solutions to most of anybody's problem exist within the state framework. Choosing to ignore it is at your own peril, given overdevelopment issues, climate issues. So my note to the public is, the state actually is your backbone. You just need to understand how it works.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you so much. Guys, we want to thank you for continuing to stick with us this morning. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am Chanel Felix, and have a great day.